Jesus didn't want to be found. Jesus wanted for you to. In the movie Forrest Gump, Lieutenant Dan says, "Have you found Jesus, Gump?" And Forrest Gump says, "Didn't know I was supposed to be looking for him, sir." So, guys, I had a question come in the comment section that asked the question about finding Jesus. So let me just read the question, and I'll give you my response. What do they mean by the question, "Have you found Jesus?" For some reason, I take offense by this question. I'm not sure why. Maybe because I feel they are judging me? I know this is unkind of me. I need a kinder retort than just walking away. This concept of finding Jesus. Okay, first of all, it's Jesus, not Joshua. And this is how I personally delineate my life. Jesus is the Christian dogmatic deity, and Jeshua ben Joseph was the man who taught the lessons that Christianity is trying to figure out with all their rules and regulations. So when you look at this question, have you found Jesus? This is a messianic recruitment tool. It's trying to find the people to join into their religion. The interesting thing about Christianity in general is Christianity is only 30% of the world. The majority of the world is not Christian. Though it is the number one religious thought in the world, Christianity is followed by Islam, being the second largest, and the third spiritual or / ideological thoughts is actually atheism, followed by Hinduism and then Buddhism, and right on down the line. But when you look at the idea of this, only 30% of the world are actually Christians, and they're trying to sway you into the belief by talking to you about their belief and their deity and their Messiah, and they're trying to bring you into the fold because that's what the religions tell them they're supposed to do, is recruit. They're supposed to bring people to God, bring people to Jesus. And so what you're feeling is someone trying to give you their beliefs. When someone says, "Have you found Jesus?" you can be darn sure that in their mind they have. They have found it, and they're trying to make you find it too. So the question is, why take offense to it? Your next part of their comment here is, for some reason I take offense to this question. I'm not sure why. Well, the reason you're taking offense to it is because the stigma around Jesus and that sort of recruitment, it's like a sales pitch. So we already have this repelling nature of someone trying to sell us something. But the other part of this is that over the years, Jesus has become one of the most divisive figures in the world. It's also Jesus, the Christian Jesus, not Joshua ben Joseph, but the Christian religious Jesus is what is used to actually perform some of the biggest atrocities that have ever happened on this planet. You know, look, I've often said the deadliest religion in the world is Catholicism. Statistically, completely accurate. Statistically completely accurate. The Catholic Church has killed more people in the name of Jesus than anybody else, any other religion. So there's a lot of judgment. There's a lot of dogma. There's a lot of sales pitch. There's a lot of stuff here that makes you instantly repel. And yes, if you have not found Jesus in their mind, you are being judged. You're being judged as someone who needs to be saved, someone who's lost, someone who is not living a loving life. The interesting thing about that is that when they come to me and they start judging me for my beliefs, I start instantly thinking, my gosh, you know, they feel the need to reach out and judge me because I don't believe as they do. But I'm living a loving life, surrounded by people I love who love me in return. I'm abundant. I live in a nice home. Everything is going great in my life. So my beliefs have worked out really well for me. And yet they, in their beliefs, need to go out and judge and prove themselves right by trying to get other people to come believe with them. They're trying to create this idea that the only one way is Jesus. And that all started at the Nicene Council in 325, when they chose to make Jesus the Son of God. Every other religion in the world was wrong. That's not anything Joshua taught. That's not anything Joshua believed. He didn't believe in messiahs, saviors, or prophets. He believed in his oneness with God and his connection with God, and was showing us that we are the same as he, and we have the same ability to have that oneness and connection with God. And so when you look at your reaction to this person, absolutely, you're coming from the judgment of the church, from the judgment of the person. You're coming from the sales pitch of the person. So automatically you feel like you want to repel. So when they come up to you, don't judge them. They're just doing what they were trained to do. The only reason you would get angry is if you are allowing your faith to be judged. I don't allow my faith to be judged. Every day people say to me something that's along the lines of, you're going to burn in hell or something like that nature. All I see is their fear. All I see is their anxiety. But I've come to take the point where they say, have you found Jesus? You say, I'm very comfortable in my faith. Thank you very much. Now, if they persist and go down the Jesus road further, but what about Jesus? Have you found Jesus? You say, spirituality is a personal journey, and I would rather keep that to myself, like Matthew 6 says. Now, people says, now what is Matthew 6? Now, if they truly know their Bible, they'll know what Matthew 6 is. If they don't, I guarantee you they're going to go look up Matthew 6. And Matthew 6 says, be careful not to practice your righteousness in front of others to be seen by them. If you do, you will have no reward from your Father in heaven. This gives you the out to say, I'm practicing my spirituality in private. I remember years and years ago, long before my spiritual stories started happening, I was a young, ornery, early 20s kind of guy. I was walking down the board, walking Rehoboth Beach, Delaware, and this guy walked up and he started preaching the Lord to me. Had his pamphlets, had his whole thing. And at one point he says, well, what do you do for a living? And at that point I was working as a landscaper, but I was very much working my way into working at Renaissance festivals. And I literally said to him, I said, I'm a comedy sword fighter. And his response was, well, maybe God doesn't want you to be a comedy sword fighter. I said, God would want me to do the things that I like to do. And who are you to tell me that I'm not? He said, I'm not telling you, God is. I said, no, God is not telling me. And just as this man is saying this and arguing that God is telling me not to be a comedy sword fighter, a friend of mine walked up. His name was Chuck. And I said, hey, Chuck, I'd like to introduce you to Jesus Christ. And the guy said, that's not what I said. And Chuck said, welcome back. To me, it was a hysterical moment. But the point is their whole life is about recruitment because they have no life of love that they're living. They're just trying to go out and recruit people to their belief. If you ever take the time to look up the word religion and look up the word cult and hold them side by side, you'll be amazed at the similarities. It's about recruiting people into the religion. And so when I talk about religion itself, I myself think of it more along the lines of it being more like a cult. And those cults have been proven to be dangerous and deadly. And when someone comes up and tries to recruit you into one, you say, no, thanks. I'm very comfortable with my faith. Thank you. So I hope this answers your question. And I hope you see that you don't have to be drawn into their fear-based sales pitch. You can literally just stay in your space, not even touch their things. Now, a lot of times you'll come to that place and you'll want to argue with them. Let it go. You're not going to change their mind, and you shouldn't have to try, because spirituality is a personal journey, and that personal journey is yours. And if your personal journey does not mesh with their personal journey, you don't have to be invested in anything they say, even if they're asking you if you found Jesus. So don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, and you guys have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon. See ya. Bye.